Who's run, hold on, before you get rolling, who's running it? You want me to run it?
You are, yeah.
Okay, and,
And we are rolling, so anytime you are ready.
all right. It's 9:11. I'm calling the Merit System Commission for Moraine to order. It's the 16th of July. It's 9:11. May we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mrs. Delph,
Here.
Mr. Watts,
Here,
Mr. Kempe,
Here.
Miss Wasty.
I make a motion to excuse Mrs. Wasey.
I'll second it.
Alrighty. Mr. Watts,
Yes.
Mr. Kempe,
Yes.
Miss Delph.
Yes.
Has everyone had an opportunity to examine the minutes? Are there any corrections?
Not that I'm aware of. See nothing.
Well, I got one.
I guess we give it back to Aaron.
Yeah. All right, hearing no corrections on the minutes, they stand approved. All right, first order of business here is to certify and release the list for the full-time street maintenance worker. Thank you.
Yep.
So a lot of those might be false.
So, real quick on that, Jim. What that is those are the test scores and the applicants. The passing grade was 60. And that's only one half of the process, so we have to certify that one half of the process. And then Chris will do the other half for the interview.
Your list here?
Yeah, I mean, for certain, we've only got 4 there. Until we find out the others in the blue that say unknown, whether or not they have a CDL or not. So,
Yeah, we have a confusion on my part if there is a Greg and a Gregory Begley.
They
or
are
do
two
we have-
different folks, 2 different addresses.
wow. I just noticed that.
Wow, that is
You
wild.
can understand the
Yeah,
question, though.
yeah. That's, and I'm guessing the ones in the red were the ones not qualified or didn't take the test.
out.
Correct. They either didn't have a passing score or did not take the test.
But these 10 names here, we're comfortable with, right? Moving forward?
I mean, we'll have to reach out to see, I think we've done this in the past, send an email or something out to see if they actually have a CDL, because there's no need to interview them if they don't. So we know we have 4 candidates, for sure. The rest we will have to, I recognize one of the names on the list, and I know for sure that they don't have a CDL, so there's one that's out. But the others I do not. So we at least have 4 we know for sure we can proceed with.
I am a little bit off on this, Chris. What's the difference between a Class A and a Class B?
Class
Semi's a
B is a
straight
straight
truck.
axle, so it'd be like a dump truck. A Class A means you could drive a semi, tractor trailer. So it's
Okay, so
actually,
the A's above the
it's
B.
it's a better classification, yeah.
Okay.
And then a lot of times your guys with Class A's will have certain endorsements like tanker, hazmat, stuff like that too.
Okay.
So,
I was just worried, I was just worried that those guys would have to go back and get a
No,
higher ranking,
no.
but it's the opposite
yeah,
direction.
we only require a Class B.
Okay.
So, but honestly, the Class A benefits us because anytime you hook a trailer to a dump truck, you have to have a Class A. Even if you hook a landscaping trailer to a dump truck, it's a combination vehicle, you have to have a Class A.
Seriously?
Yes. Actually, right now, like a Ford F-350, depending on what options are on that truck and what it weighs, if you put a landscaping truck on a 1-ton dually, you could be required to have a CDL. Because the trucks have gotten so big nowadays, the weight puts them over the requirement. And a lot of people are towing trucks and trailers around here without CDLs, and they're not legal.
Do
So,
we have any need or use for common endorsements, tanker, hazmat, and such?
we do, tanker is one that some of our guys have, because if we drive our vac-on truck and it's full of water, it's over the requirement that you need. And that really got pushed a few years ago. There was one of those Roto-Rooter trucks that do the drain cleaning.
Yeah.
And the guy turned the corner and the truck flipped and killed a lady sitting in a car in a turn lane.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a tanker endorsement, which, I don't know if that would have changed anything, because it still didn't change. Him having something on his license didn't change the way he was driving too
Well-
fast, but.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is way hypothetical, okay? Would a Class B entry level be acceptable, but before an employee could advance to level 2 or level 3, because we eliminated one of those levels, they have to go back and get their Class A's?
I mean, it's something we could. We've never required a Class A, but
Like
maybe
you're
it's something we need to
saying,
look at, because the laws have changed. Even since I started in 2005, there was no, a Class B could hook a trailer to a dump truck and go. I mean, there was multiple times that, I have a Class A, but there was multiple times guys with Class Bs did that. Now that's not legal, but a majority of the guys in my shop now have a Class A. Majority of them. Now, a tanker endorsement's just going back down and taking a test on the computer. If you pass it, you get your tanker.
right, but I mean, to me, that would show more of an enthusiasm for wanting to advance oneself in the shop. It's one thing to sit down and say, well, I'm going to take an advancement test here with the city, but show me something that you're doing out there on your own to show that you want to advance.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
that's something we could even probably maybe incorporate some of that in like continuing education or something. It's just like somebody going and getting their spray license or their playground certification, or if I send somebody to some leadership training or management
Right.
training, it's the same thing.
Well, I mean, we've
So-
got an incoming employee here that's going to have a Class B, okay? But before they can advance any further out of, like you're just saying right now, they can't haul a trailer with a dump truck, even though they do advance in your department. Let's say we promote them, but they still got a Class B. They can't drive that legally.
Well, I mean, that's something that's probably more in depth. You might have to get the union and stuff involved with that, because I don't know, what's all in there as far as promotions, because we do talk about promotions in the contract and stuff. So that's that's something that I'm willing to talk about, but it's going to take that's a bigger discussion. With getting the union involved and
Then
stuff
what
like that,
does-
as far as promotions and stuff.
Well, I think law would supersede union rules.
Look, we gotta operate within the bounds of the law, and if the law says you can't drive this straight truck with a trailer attached without a CDL-A, then we're in the wrong if we're not.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Which is,
So our next promotional test, that would go up.
Well, the alternative is you don't get to pull a trailer anymore. Now, that's not very useful
well,
for
that's
us
the
as a
thing. So
city.
right now, I know who has them and who doesn't, and I make sure who the guys do that. I would never tell a guy with the Class B to go do that, knowing that you can't do that. But like I said, I think when I first started here, there was so many that had Class Bs, because you got grandfathered in back in the early 90s with the chauffeur's license. You got grandfathered into a class. Them guys didn't have to take a test. They just got it. A lot of those guys have retired out and left, and a lot of the new guys that have come in, they're like, if I'm going to go through the process of having to test and get my CDL, I'm just going to go for the A. Because once I have the A,
Right.
so I'll tell you how in-depth it is now. You can get a CDL with a manual transmission, and you're not allowed to drive an automatic. You can get a CDL with an automatic transmission, you're not allowed to drive a manual. You can get a CDL that has both. You can get a CDL that's Class A pendle hitch, which is just like
A ball.
hooking a trailer onto a ball, or you can get a Class A combination, which is a semi-truck that hooks on like a semi-truck does. There's so many different levels there. So when we get into that's why it had to be a bigger discussion, because it's like, if you can't just say I'm going to require Class A, because technically we would just need a Class A with a pendle hitch. But if down the road, if we ever bought a gooseneck trailer, that's different than a pendle hitch. So if we have a F550 and we have a gooseneck trailer and we hook it up that way, now you're closer to the semi. You're going to have that endorsement, the semi hookup. You're going to have a combination type way. So that's why I said it's the CDL rules in the last 5 years have changed so much. It's so hard to stay on top of them. You almost have to look into them weekly, because they change constantly. When it first started, it was 20 hours of classroom, 20 hours of driving. Now we're at 40 hours of classroom, 40 hours of driving. And I get it. If you look at statistics, the accidents for CDL drivers have gone through the roof. People that are coming into the country that don't even speak English, that you can't
How
even
do they pass
communicate
a
with,
test?
they're giving them at one time they were giving them a license with no training or nothing like that. So I see they're trying to make it safer, but for people like us, it doesn't make it a little bit more difficult. So I'm not opposed to having a discussion about that, like I said, with Mike and the unions and all that stuff going forward. But as far as this goes, this would just be entry level, so anybody would be qualified for that.
Okay.
Sounds like you're pretty up on what the situation is with the requirements for driving.
Yeah.
We assume that you're not going to do anything that would go
No.
contrary to that, so
No.
I
No.
have confidence.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions regarding the list and the names?
Nope.
Do you have any further comments for us?
I do not, just, we'll get busy on the interviews.
Wonderful. Do we have a motion
Thanks.
to certify and release the list for the street maintenance worker?
I make that motion.
Second?
Mr. Kempe,
Yes?
Mr. Watts,
Yes.
Ms. Delph.
Yes.
Very good.
Give him back to Aaron.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Is there any other business for us to address this morning?
Nothing?
Seeing none, I'll call the meeting to a close at 9:22. Thank you.
Thanks.